Okay. Welcome to the Fifth Dimensional Academy of Higher Consciousness. Today is January 16th. I'm broadcasting from Los Angeles, California. So we're just going to start with a meditation. And as always, as after the meditation, you're welcome to ask me if you have any questions or any particular subject you would like me to talk about. So why don't we begin with closing our eyes, bring your attention on your third eye, and just take a deep breath and just relax in this moment. Relax into your natural state of being and don't try to force anything. It's just simply relax into it. Simply be here. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes. And without trying to manipulate anything. Don't try to manipulate anything. A manipulated meditation doesn't work, and it doesn't worth anything. So you're simply being present with whatever and wherever you're at with yourself right now. And you take a deep breath. You have your attention on your third eye. And you're not trying to do anything. You're simply present in this moment. And you are spending time hanging out with whatever is happening right now, whatever that is. It could be pleasant or not. It could be a lot of thoughts or no thoughts. There could be sensations in your body, or you're just completely feeling free and relaxed. And as you are breathing in and out in this state that you're at, I would like you to see that slowly, your body begins to disappear into your breath. As you're breathing in and out, your body begins to disappear, as if you have no body. There's a breath going on, there's a breathing happening, but in this breathing, there is no association with a physical form. Breathing is taking place. You're breathing in and out without any kind of manipulation. But there is no doer. Nobody is doing anything. Breathing simply is happening on its own accord. You have your attention on your third eye, but you're not trying to do anything. You simply are. So you're just comfortably sitting there, allowing your everything to come and go without trying to manipulate anything. You're breathing in and out. You don't need to think about breathing. Breathing happens naturally. And your attention is not on your thoughts or your feelings. You're not trying to stop your thoughts or manipulate anything. You're simply sitting, having your eyes closed, your attention on is one point, either your third eye or simply on being present, being here, and being present with whatever is happening. And that is true meditation, is being present with whatever is going on right now. You're simply here. You're in a relaxed state. Your breath is happening naturally without any manipulation. You're allowing whatever is happening right now in your surrounding or within yourself to be and to happen. It's a total surrender and allowing to what is. Do not try to manipulate your present situation to be something else than what is. Simply stay in this place of acceptance and surrender. and let things come and go. Accepting the present state of where you're at brings a lot of peace. When there's no struggle in being here right now, not trying to manipulate it to be something else, everything becomes very easy. And as you're just simply sitting in deep meditation, a deep, calm state starts to take over. You're going deeper and deeper within yourself. It's warm, comfortable, fuzzy, and very relaxing. Slowly, slowly, come back. Come back here. And as you're coming out of your meditation, or at least the appearance of meditation, so as you open your eyes, I would like you to do an experiment as you're in silence and you're transitioning from closing your eyes and being in this state of meditation. You're transitioning into this other state of being awake and worldly. You know, you've got your eyes open and you're looking at the other world. So just simply look at the objects and your surrounding, whether you have an opportunity to look outside of the window or looking whatever is in front of you, and you look around and just look in a very subtle way and see if there's really a separation between you, who's observing, and the objects that you're observing. Kind of like, are you really separated from things that you're observing without the mind to come and tell you anything? But you just open your eyes, coming out of the meditation. You do see objects, there's distance or appearance that they're distant from where you're at, but are you really separated from them? Do they really appear and happen outside of yourself, or they're happening in your own consciousness? And you don't necessarily have to come to an answer in this moment, but you can use this practice in the future. You know, exactly when you come out of meditation and you open your eyes, maybe a minute after that, it's too late. But when you just come out of meditation and you open your eyes and you do see objects in front of you, it's the best time to really tune in and pay attention. And quite often, actually, you'll be amazed of your discovery. I don't want to tell you what you're going to discover, but I would like you to find out for yourself. Is there really a separation, or it's simply it's the appearance of separation? I would like you to pay attention to this word, appearance. The word appearance. Oh, you are reading a spiritual book, you're listening to a spiritual master. Let's say you're reading some old text. And if you single out this word, appearance, then you will be amazed that the true awakened masters, they use this word. You know, you're reading something, you may not even pay attention to it because you're listening to a story or where this sentence is going to. But in Advaita Vedanta, the teachings of Advaita Vedanta, which is the teachings, it's the non-duality, non-dual teaching. And the Advaita Vedanta masters, they refer to this, they use this simple word and referring to the world that appears to be. There is an appearance of duality. It appears to be that you have free will. It appears to be. It appears to be that you're making a choice. It appears to be that things are really going well for me. And it appears to be that I'm becoming successful. It appears to be that the world is going towards evolution. Pay attention when you're reading books, when you're listening to other teachers, look for this word. The word appearance. It appears to be that things are, you meet somebody and you're in a, let's say, love relationship, or it looks like your career is going better, or things are falling down, falling apart. Whatever is the situation, it could be positive, it could be negative, it could be neutral. It doesn't matter. But then there are times that everything is aligning up in your life. Everything is coming all together. And you may be patting yourself in the back that, oh, I'm really good. I'm really manifesting things. I'm really making things happen. I'm manipulating things to go my way. And a true wise teacher says, it appears to be that things are going my way. It appears to be going in that direction. Use the word appear. It looks like it's going in that way. But pay attention, because sometimes everything looks like it's lining up and it's going in that direction. And all of a sudden, in the last moment, it falls apart. So you can't get too excited too quickly and start celebrating something who hasn't really fruited and it hasn't come to the end that gives you results. Sometimes you can watch it in games, like two teams are playing together. Two football teams are playing together, and it appears that one team is dominating the other one and is going to win the game. And then in the very last moment, the other team who's been on a defending side goes and scores a goal and they win. Have you seen that before? Has happened? All of a sudden, in the last minute of a game, everything turns around and it goes in a different direction. For example, it appeared that Hillary Clinton was going to become the US president. It appeared to be that way, right? Until the very last moment. But then what happened? It appeared that it was going in that direction, correct? Anyone who followed the US presidency, the race, as it was getting closer to the end, they were all thinking that Hillary Clinton was going to win. It looked like she was going to win. And then what happened in the last moment? So you look at things, events in your own life, and see sometimes everything looks like either is falling apart or lining up, and then all of a sudden, sometimes in the last moment, things turn around and they go another direction, for better or for worse. Pay attention, you will see. Just one moment. Honey, can you get me a blanket, please? Yeah. So appearances could be deceiving. They could deceive you. Something, thank you very much. Something appears to be going in certain direction. It could be very deceiving. You cannot be deceived by it. You can't get too excited too quickly over something. You have to wait. See how it's going to end towards all the way to the end. So that's one thing. That's one part of it. But the other sides of appearances is that it appears in this life that, for example, we have our own free will, right? It appears to be that way. It looks like it. It looks like you make your own choices and you make your own decisions. But how often you decide to go in a certain direction in your life and you end up being in the complete opposite sides? How often does that happen? I mean, you look back at your life. Those of us who are a little bit older, so we have some history, and then you sit down and you look back and you say, oh my God, I never thought my life is going to be like this, whether it's better or for worse. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, I never thought I'm going to end up being here. This is not what I wanted. This is not where I wanted to go. Or this is not what I thought I'm going to end up doing or being. I don't know what happened. So that's more of a long-term kind of a thing. But now let's look at short-term stuff. Look in your daily life or weekly, the things you're thinking you're going to do or want to do, and then you end up doing something else. Or you end up not doing them at all. Oh, I promised myself as of the beginning of the year, this is my New Year resolution. I'm going to start going to the gym 3 times a week. I'm going to the yoga class. I'm going to start losing weight. I'm going to change things. I'm going to start to go to bed early every night. And then you end up not doing any of it. So what happened? How come you can't? How come you didn't do it? I really would like you to examine this for yourself. Pay attention that how many times, because this is the tendency we have, maybe 9 out of 10 times we want to do something and we don't do it. And then the one time we want to do something and we do it, we're hanging on to that one time and we're disregarding the other 9 times that we ended up not doing what we wanted to do. And we're hanging on to this one time and saying like, oh yeah, that was me. That was my free will. You know, look, you see, I wanted to do that and I did it. But what about all that other 9 times? How come you don't pay any attention to that? You're disregarding that. How come it didn't work? I use another example. What about with the power of visualization or power of self-affirmation? You know, I have friends here that if I'm coming down with a cold and I'm talking to my friends and say, hey, you know, I feel like I'm coming down with a cold. And one of our friends says, no, 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 don't say that. Don't say that. That's going to happen. Don't say you're coming down with a cold. Okay? So as if I say, I feel like I'm coming down with a cold, I am going to come with a cold because I said it. Okay? Well, I've been saying that I think I'm going to have $50 million in my bank account for past 30 years. And that never happened. I mean, you know, it's interesting. All these things that you're doing positive affirmation and you've been doing it over and over again and whatever it is, and it never happens, we don't pay any attention to it. But the one out of 10 that you're doing positive affirmation or visualization that happens, then that's you. You're mindy, you're big, and you did it. It's you. You know, pay attention to this and just look at it. And you will be amazed that you will receive some gems and some gifts out of just looking at this thing. It's bringing something to your awareness that really makes you realize something that before you wouldn't even think about it, or you had not paid attention to it. And that will help you to gradually, slowly come out of this mass hypnosis that majority of people on this planet are in. Coming out of this hypnosis, this sleepy state that we're in, it helps you to wake up. Okay, now I'm going to, can you unmute everyone, Shishi, please? Yeah? All right. So, Miss Hilda, you wanted me to talk about Egypt.
Yes, please.
Yeah? The ancient land of Egypt. Some consider Egypt is the very...
cradle of civilization.
The what? What's that?
Cradle of civilization.
Cradle of civilization, the very roots, the land, very roots of our spirituality. Some consider it that it's coming from Egypt. And they definitely, we have to mute everyone because now there's noise. I was hoping that we don't hear noise, but we are. Yeah, I mean, that there's power in Egypt. I mean, that's beyond any doubt. With the pyramids, with the Nile, and the whole history of this ancient civilization, the mystery, and so much is going on in this land. And we are going to have this tour, this 2-week tour, which I like the fact that it's not a short tour, and it's going to give us time to arrive there, get acclimated with the land, and have different initiations and ceremonies in sacred sites and power places. And also, throughout this 2-week period, we would spend a week on the River of Nile on a cruise ship. And we will be doing different ceremonies and initiations while we're cruising on the River of Nile. So I'm quite sure, or I would like to believe, again, I don't know what's going to happen in future, but I have a very good feeling that this is going to be a very powerful journey. So I'm looking forward to it, and I feel honored that I'm a part of it. There's a gentleman joining us who is an Egyptologist, and he's an expert, and he actually is our main tour guide. And he's the one who's taking us to sacred sites. And so we'll be asking him a lot of questions regarding history and all the mythical aspects of all these different monuments and sites, of what's been behind it and what's been going on there for thousands of years. Let's see, anybody has any questions? Yeah. Hi, Marit.
Hello.
Nice to see you there.
Yeah, thank you. I have just read that now they have found energies within the pyramids.
Okay.
Healing energies because of the shape of the pyramids.
Right.
So here is spinning. That's what I.
Right. Yes.
And very powerful energy.
The what?
Very powerful energy.
Powerful energy. Yes. Absolutely.
So,
Yes.
and they say that's why the ancient people have been building pyramids all over the world to try to heal both the planet and the people.
Yes. Absolutely. It's happening.
Yes. David Wilcock, I've been watching.
Yeah, David Wilcock.
Yeah.
You can watch David Wilcock live, on live streaming. Also, if you go through my website, and I have the Conscious Life Expo live stream link. So you guys can register and you can watch the expo if you want to see what's going on at the Conscious Life Expo 2018. That's going to be on February 9th, 10th, and 11th.
Yes.
So,
And there's
you can keep,
yes.
what's that?
David Wilcock has a lot of videos, hundreds and hundreds,
Yeah.
on Via channel.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I see a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's out there.
Yes.
Hello, Miss Marit. What's up? What's going on? What did you want to say? Something? I'm saying Marit. Rosalie. Do you want to say something?
No, not other thing than that I have been in Egypt and think about the power as build this pyramid.
Okay. You have been there.
Yes.
Cool. How long ago was that?
Nearly 30 years ago.
30 years ago. Okay. Hi, Christopher.
Hello again. This is very interesting because Well, I just read a book 2 weeks ago, and that is basically telling some things that are very controversial, I think, comparing to what most of us believe in. And I wanted to ask you specifically, what and who you believe created the pyramids and why?
Yeah, I don't really know, to be honest with you. I really never thought about it much of who really created the pyramids.
Aliens.
There's a lot of different theories, but I mean, when I think about it, definitely it must be an advanced civilization, but I don't find myself an authority to make any comments about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because what triggered that question in me just before was that you were talking about the hypnotization that most people are pretty much hypnotized, referred to as being asleep and not being able to. This book I just read 2 weeks ago talks about the pyramids and talks about the reason why, one of the reasons why the pyramids was built in according to the theme, fully understand and fully comprehend who we basically are at the core of source energy. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've read different things. Don't take me wrong. I have read different things, like the pyramids were built as beacons for the alien ships to land in, different pyramids in different parts of planets, for them to use them as beacons to land in planet Earth. But in depth, I don't really know.
And they use levitation to move the stones because they're too heavy.
Well, I mean, there's the theory that they use levitation techniques to move the stones. And that really makes sense to me. Because obviously it's hard to believe that 3,000, 4,000 years ago, they had the technology or anything near to be able to carry these stones and also set them up so precisely.
Exactly.
It's definitely a mystery. So, but I don't see a reason why there couldn't have been other civilizations or advanced technology. It could have easily existed on this planet, and somehow, for some reason, it disappeared or it's hidden. I mean, there's many different ways of looking at it, and it's very exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you get into it, the mysteries of it is very exciting.
Yes.
What's that?
What does Christopher's book say?
Well, Shishi is asking, what does your book say? What does your book say about the origin of pyramids?
It actually talks about the light and the dark forces.
Right.
And it takes a viewpoint from an interview 1947 according to the Roswell UFO accident. Right. And what the American government basically did to this craft that landed and crashed accidentally. And this being, this entity, who at that time was an alien body, which has been proven to be within the American government. The original footage can be found and can be seen, but this book specifically talks about, well, this entity, and this is about the Earth and the human history, and it's about the light and the dark forces that has been fought, battling between the power of the solar system and the power and the magnificence of the Milky Way galaxy. And this being who manifested the intelligence in this little body is basically what you introduced tonight in this meditation, where you were talking about letting go of the physical and basically have an awareness and a conscious awareness of the non-physical dimension. And this being, this entity, which I believe is from the divine spiritual hierarchy of some sort, I don't know who specific it was, but it's a long interview with this little alien and this entity. When you said the hypnotized state of mind, it triggered that part of me, because that's what exactly this being and this entity was talking about, that one of the great pyramids as one of the great, what do you call this, symbols, has been placed on purpose by the dark forces, basically to hypnotize people to forget who we are. Yes.
Right.
And that's a little contradiction to what I believe where we are at this moment in time right now, according to your work within the fifth dimension quantum field and the ascension of the earth and the consciousness of people. That is basically a time that is past with the dark forces that has been trying to gather power over this solar system and over this galaxy.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you for sharing. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, in accordance to what you say, which is very good, I'm glad you bring this up. Now, as we're expanding and we're reaching the higher dimensions, as our consciousness is expanding and elevating to fifth dimensional consciousness, is that when you do evolve and you reach awakening, you wake up and you reach this fifth dimensional awareness, consciousness, is that you go beyond the duality. So the duality is, yes, there's the dark forces, which dark forces never went away. They're still here. They may change their looks, and the times changed. And the instruments, stuff look different, but there's still the dark force, and there's the light force. They're both there. It's like my right hand and left hand. It's like you cannot have a hand without the other side. You know, this is the front part. This is the back part. This is the front part of your hand. And it's like having a coin, and you're looking at a coin. Coin is two-sided, has two sides. So the duality exists. In the highest level of consciousness, is to go beyond the duality. All of these things do exist, but ultimately when you reach the highest level of awareness and in your consciousness is you go beyond the duality and you arrive at this place of singularity, at this point beyond. That's why I talked about the Advaita Vedanta, the non-dual teaching, the non-duality teaching. Because this teaching is no longer talking about you as a person capable of doing something or having the free will, being able to do good or bad. You have gone beyond good and bad, and you've arrived in this place of total stillness, that your mind is quiet and is very still. There's no movements happening. And you have come to this place that you begin to see, experience, and realize that you are one with all of it. You're one with the dark, and you're one with the light. And ultimately beyond. And that's the path to freedom, because you have freed yourself. And here's the pyramid, and it makes perfect sense. And you know, on the top of the pyramid, on the very, very top, at one pointedness, where is the eye, the watcher. And there's only one eye. And then as the pyramid goes down, you know, you go down and it starts expanding, so it becomes more levels. And these things, all of these things David Wilcock talks about, and all these other respected teachers talking about, they're still talking in duality. They're still talking in the worlds of the opposites. They're still speaking, we're still learning about concepts, past lives, future, other places, other things, other beings. But the ultimate teaching is to go beyond the duality. Is to go beyond all of it, the opposites. That's where you become free. Because here's in the very top of the pyramid, at the very top is the one point, and you are free. But if you start climbing down, there is expansion. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And as you go to the bottom of the pyramid, there's more concept, more stories, more dual world, more opposites. And as you're climbing up and you're getting to the top, you're arriving at the one pointedness. And that's where the Buddha arrived. The Buddha arrived at this place. He went beyond the opposites. And that's how he became free. So, yes, the dark force and the light force and the battle between dark and light is there. It's there right now in this moment. It's happening right now, as you can see in this world. But if you're involved in it and you're engaged with it, you are still involved in the world of duality. You're still hypnotized because you believe that it's real. And the master has gone beyond that. The master is free from the dual world. And the way to be free from the dual world is to arrive at the silent mind, the quiet mind, where there's no thoughts. No thoughts. You have come to silence. You have come to the very, very tip of the pyramid. There's one point. There's only one left. There's one. One means there's no others. There's no light, there's no dark. Both light and dark has merged into each other and they've become one. The dark side cannot exist without the light. The light cannot exist without the dark. They're meaningless. Because for light to exist, there must be an observer. There must be somebody like you and I sitting here observing the light and reporting it. Hey, there is light. But there is light against what? How do you know there is light? The only way you know there is light because you have also observed the dark side. So now you can talk about the light or you can talk about the dark. Because there's an observer here. There's somebody here observing light and dark. But in the absence of the observer, if there is no observer, then where is the light and dark? The light and dark exist because your mind appears. In the absence of your thinking mind, when you're in absolute silence, there is no light and there is no dark. Everything disappears. As everything disappears, when you sleep at night and you go to a deep sleep, and there's no more you, there's no more your beloved, there are no more your problems, your home disappears, your bed disappears, your job, your work, your love affairs, your heartbreak, everything disappears because you're not there. That's what makes this teaching the supreme teachings, because it's going beyond concepts. The history of mankind, ancient civilizations, the aliens, the past lives, the future, all of them are very, very exciting. And I love it. But they are still happening in the world of duality. They're still in the body of the pyramid. You have to go beyond that if you want to be free. Otherwise, you're still trapped into the duality. And being in the duality is not freedom. Hi, Camila.
Hi. Thank you for being here again. I have a question. I think this is very interesting because I'm wondering to in daily life to go beyond or being in the silence place, is that what you can do in every moment, being oneness with everything as it's in its own perfection every moment? Is that being beyond?
Yeah, but let me explain this part so it's clear. Is that we're not talking about your thinking mind is not there any longer when we're talking about silence. We're not talking about that the thoughts are not processing in your head. We're talking about living in silence means that you have realized you're not your thoughts. You're not your thinking mind. So therefore you have discovered where you're at. And where you're at is still and silent. And now you're living in the world, as we all do, and you're going with your daily affairs. And you are engaged with whatever you need to be engaged with. And of course, there's thought process. Your working mind is working. You need to think about this and that and what I do, how do I drive, how do I register with, fill up an application and things like that. We do that. But we operate from a still and silent place within ourselves. That which is not identified with the thoughts or the feelings or our body. I don't know if this is making sense or I made you more confused. Or a little bit. Oh,
I can't unmute. Okay. Thank you. It's making sense very much. I just have to dive a little bit into that, I think, to really experience.
Let me put it in this way, okay? As you go deeper and deeper, and you start to recognize, you realize who you are. You start to see yourself. Means this part of you, the real you, which is here. Look. There's this part of you who's watching, the watcher. There's an observer inside you, is simply quiet, and it's not involved with what it's observing. The observer part of you, the watcher inside you, is not involved with the story which is happening in the world or in your life. It's simply observing what is going on and is aware of the life you're living in, but is not involved. I mean, doesn't prefer your life to go this direction or that direction. It's simply watching whatever is happening. And that's what you basically do all day long. You're not aware of it. Other people are not aware of it. That you're not aware that you're always observing your thoughts because you think you are your thoughts. Because you've been programmed and conditioned to believe that these thoughts that you're hearing, that's who you are. Your mental process is who you think you are. And that's where you're hypnotized.
Like appearance?
Huh?
Like appearance. That must be the same.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? When you are...
Majority of people on this planet are thinking. You're thinking, right? And whatever these thoughts going to your head, you think from childhood, you start to believe that your mental process, your thought activities, you start to think you start to believe that's who you are. Until one point in your life that somehow you read a book or you come across a teacher, or you have a dramatic experience, something happens that the self-awareness process kicks in. And you learn, you do meditation, and you do the first step. Or you take a mindfulness course, whatever names you want to put into it, which I don't think that's a good name anyway. But you begin, let's say you go to a Vipassana meditation course, or you take a basic meditation class, and you learn about observing your thoughts, watching your thoughts. Yeah? And I believe everybody's here in this webinar at one point or the other have done this. Observing your thoughts. Am I right? Do you observe your thoughts? Do you look? You sit right now, do it right now. Let's do it right now together. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and observe your thoughts. And see what thoughts are passing through in your head. Okay. Now, you can observe your thoughts. You can witness. You know, sometimes thoughts going and going. It's continuously going in your head. So the random thoughts, they're fast. You don't have time to catch them. Okay? But when you do meditation, things slow down. And right now, you simply can close your eyes and take a look and what are you thinking? And see what kind of thought is going through your head. And your mind slowed down, you can even pick a thought. You can think of one thing you want to think of. You can think of coffee. You can think of Coca-Cola. You can think about your son. You can think about a vacation. You have the ability to choose a topic or a thought and think of, and you have the ability to observe what's going on in your head, right? Yes? No?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, therefore, you have the ability to observe different thoughts, or you always think about one thought. Unmute. Shishi. Okay, everyone's unmuted. Can you observe your thoughts? And do they change?
Yes.
Or you always think about one thing? I have unmuted everyone so you can speak to me. So your thoughts pass through your head, correct? To your mind, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they change, don't they?
Yes.
Are you limited to only one thought?
No.
Do you or 5 or 6 or 10 thoughts and you can't think about other things? You can think about flying, that you have opened up wings and you're flying, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
You can think about fighting. You can become a ninja warrior in your mind, and you have a sword and you can fight, correct?
Yes.
You can imagine you're a dolphin and you're swimming in the ocean. You can imagine you're a bird, you're flying. You can imagine that you're a snake and you're on the ground, whatever. You can imagine whatever you want if you would like to sit down and use your imaginations, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So different thoughts you can imagine, different thoughts passing through your mind without you being able to do anything about it. Sometimes you have some really nasty thoughts and you're ashamed of it. Correct?
True.
You know, sometimes these judgmental thoughts come through your mind, you're judging somebody, and then you catch yourself and you feel guilty. Does it ever happen to you?
Yeah.
And you say to yourself, I shouldn't have these thoughts. I shouldn't be thinking this way. Sometimes you have sexual fantasy. You fantasize about somebody having sex with someone you're not supposed to have to. It's a deep, secret thought you have for yourself. Sometimes you imagine whatever it is, in whatever area. Sometimes you can see yourself as an angel. Sometimes you imagine yourself as a very famous person. Sometimes you imagine yourself as a very miserable person. That you're lonely and nobody loves you and nobody cares about you and you're ugly and you're whatever. Sometimes you see yourself, you keep seeing yourself, you keep imagining different things when you want to do it. And other times things come and go. But all of this time, all these thoughts come and go in front of you. What element inside you doesn't change? Thoughts come and go. But what doesn't come and go?
The observer.
The observer. And who is the observer? Yeah, you, right? You are the one who's observing. We don't even want to get too esoteric about it. The consciousness, da 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 da. No, let's keep it very simple. You are observing thoughts, correct? Well, you have been observing thoughts all of your life. The difference between you a year ago or 2 years ago or 5 years ago and now is that before you didn't know you were observing your thoughts. Before you thought this thought process is who you are. And now there's a self-awareness mechanism that has kicked in that now you're starting to become aware that you are watching your thoughts. So if you've learned this new word, I'm observing my thoughts, I'm looking at my thoughts. But then this starts to develop more and gets deeper. That is just not, I'm observing my thoughts. It comes to, wait a minute, I am not my thoughts because I'm observing a passing object. An object is passing through my mind, which is called thoughts, and I can observe them. So you start to notice that. Then as you go deeper and deeper, either through the help of your teacher or whatever circumstances, if you remain attentive and pay attention and don't fall asleep or don't get hypnotized, then you start to really question something. The question comes that then, who am I? Who is observing these thoughts? And this one who's observing the thoughts, how come is not changing? Because I have been observing thoughts all of my life. Whether I knew I was doing it or I didn't. But I've been doing it all the time. And the more you become aware of this mechanism, the more you become free from this big cloud, this power of this thinking mind that takes you over and makes you suffer and makes things real. That you really believe it's real. And you start to get distant from it. And the more you get distant from it, the more it loses its power over you.
Zarathustra?
The more, yeah.
What about feelings? What do you feel?
Thing. Same thing. Same thing. Exactly the same thing. Same process with your feelings and the same process with your body.
Mm-hmm.
The body is the last identification mechanism and the strongest because we really believe we're the body. And we're very, very strongly affected by it. And it's survival. We really believe that the life of this body is who we are. So that's the very last step. That when you completely free yourself from the body as well, and you realize you're not the body either.
So,
go ahead.
So now you're back to the start of this. I mean, the meditation you introduced was about detaching from the physical body, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I started it with, if you remember, as we start just relaxing and being right here. And so I said, as you're just relaxing, starting to get a glimpse of it, of a realization that the I am, the presence, is always here. Go ahead.
But you say, Zarathustra, that that's the last part of the three parts: the thoughts, the emotions, and the physical.
Yeah.
That the awareness has the physical as the last detachment, if you could put it that way.
Yeah, of realizing that you're not your body, you're the awareness of the body. You are watching the body. You're the observer that's been observing this body is going through change. And this body hasn't stayed the same either. It's continuously changing. It's aging. It's transforming. It's getting better or getting worse. But you see it's gradual changes. And as you get older and coming to your later time, and then eventually you see that it starts to fade away and does malfunctions. But the sense of I am, the observer, remains absolutely unchanged. Because you're clearly observing the death of the body, but the observer is not aged. The observer always remains the observer. Same as the observer is observing the thoughts. Thoughts come and go, millions of them, but the observer is always here watching. Same thing.
Bodies come and go.
Go ahead.
And bodies come and go.
Bodies come and go. But it's a little bit more difficult. I would say it's more difficult to cope with that, because in this life we're only going to see one body come and go. So that's what makes it more tough. But the thoughts, you see billions and billions of thoughts come and go. And your emotions too. You can see like your emotions change a bunch of times during the day. You can wake up in the morning and feel really great, and by noon you get some bad news and you're depressed, and by afternoon, after a nice pint of ice cream and some chocolate, then you and a talk with your friends, you feel better, and by evening, you know, you get some good news and you feel really good. So you can see your emotions come and go continuously. The body, you're not going to experience 5-10 different bodies in one lifetime, but you experience one body which is changing all the time in one lifetime. And there is a strong identification of this really strong core from the root chakra that you're the body. And the death of the body means that you're going to end. So that's a very strong identification. But that too will fall when you do the work. Because to become free, you have to go through this. Otherwise, you're not going to be free. Otherwise, you remain in the duality. You're still in this pyramid. And there's a lot of fun things in there, but you are still involved in the world of duality. Because you still believe you are a human being and you're separated, and therefore you can vanish. You are not free. Therefore you can suffer until you come to the very top of the pyramid when there is no duality. Means you realize you're not your thoughts, you're not your emotions, and you're not your body. You've simply been here on the very top of pyramid. Forever you've been sitting there, and forever you've been observing things passing through, and you're not those things. And then you're free.
I don't really feel free in my head, because if I'm, oh God, I forgot what I was going to say. My question has always been, who am I? Because I don't know who I am. That's so frustrating. And I know I'm God within. But what to do with it here on earth? Just being in this body with the feelings, with the thoughts. I mean, for me it has to be a meaning. So maybe that's also my mind, you know.
Right. Yeah. Right. Well, the meaning is very simple. You're here obviously, right? I'll just make things super simple so we don't get very esoteric. Because we can get really esoteric with things. But we'll just keep it simple. We're all here because you can't be anywhere else. Can you be anywhere else right now? Obviously you can't. So we're all here. And so since we're all here, this is the only experience which is, we have to experience it, whatever it is. It's painful, it's not. You have your family, you lose your beloved ones, you fall in love, you get heartbroken. There is all kinds of challenges in this dual world, in this world of duality. For some reason, you're here. Now you can attach stories to it. Okay? You can say we have chosen to come here. Okay, that's a nice story. But it's a concept. You don't know where you were before you were here. Before you were born, you have no idea where you were. It's blank. You have no memory of where you were. Whether it was a past life or you were sitting on a cushion on the lap of God. You have no idea. But your mind will come with a story. That you've read a story, you heard it from another spiritual teacher, or you read it in a book, or it's a story you really resonate with. I chose to come to this life. I chose to choose my parents. I chose my body, which I would have never chosen this body if I ever had the chance to come here. I would have been taller, stronger, wider, more flexible, more athletic, you know. I would have chosen a much better model. If I have a choice, I would upgrade it. But
Zarathustra.
No, yeah, of course I'm okay. I'm not saying I'm not okay. I'm okay because I've come to this spiritual maturity of accepting what is. But if you're going to choose a vehicle to come in, why not having the best, most modern, fastest, slickest? Why choose a broken vehicle or a half-assed vehicle or something that is not running very well? You know, why not entering into this dimension with the best one possible? But anyway.
So are you saying that there is no learning?
No, I'm not saying there is no learning. I'm just saying that this idea that you chose to come to this planet, you chose your parents, you chose your destiny, it's a concept. You don't know if you chose it or you didn't.
Okay, I have a question. What about when you said you don't know where you come from, you don't know where you have been?
Well, do you
Where does memories come in there? Like memories about past lives? Are they just stories, or do they belong to something?
Yeah, they're stories of the collective. They're the stories of all others who have lived those lives. Because what happens when a drop of rain, okay? Let's say you're a drop of rain and you have your own life, and the drop, it's fallen from the sky, so that's from when you start to live, and the drop is falling down all the way, and it's just finally falls into the ocean. When a drop of rain falls into the ocean, what happens to that drop?
It becomes the ocean.
It becomes the ocean. Right. Now, can you find it in the ocean?
No.
No. It's gone, and it's become the ocean. Now, let's say the water starts to evaporate, mist, fog starts to rise and goes back up, and then the temperature changes and the cloud becomes clouds, and the clouds turn to be rains again. So this drop that goes back and manifests itself, wherever it is, it picks up the memories of wherever it is and takes it up there, and it becomes a drop again. It looks like, it appears that it has its own autonomy. It looks like it.
Yeah.
But it is the collective that goes back and becomes a drop. It's not that same drop that goes back and relive. That same drop is disappeared into the ocean. It's a brand new drop again, but has the memories of the ocean. So has the sense that it's separated. It has this feeling that it's on its own, but it's never been on its own. It's always been the ocean.
Wow.
And that's the beauty of it, because we have never been separated from that. Only we appear to be separated from that. And that's the beauty of the realization. Because you realize there's never been another. It's always been that. It appears to be as billions of other people, but it's all that one. And that's the mastery of God. That's why God is the master. Because only the master can create this kind of hypnotism and fool you. So you think there is others. So you think there is the dark forces. So you think there is the bad guy and there's the good guy. But behind the mask of everybody is only one. That one appears to be many, but it's only one. And that's the work of the master. That's why they say, you go through any text from Rumi, from Hafiz, you go to ancient texts, you read from these masters, the Advaita masters, the Sufi masters, the Tao, the Tibetans, they all talk about God or the Supreme disguising itself as billions of different entities, disguising itself. Creating the appearance of separation. Appearance of separation. Not real separation. Because there is no real separation, because it's all one. How many times have we said to each other, to other people, that, oh, it's all one? In our spiritual path, how many times any of you have said it, that, oh, it's all one, it's all oneness? Has ever anyone said that?
Yes.
Yeah. So what does, when I say it's all oneness, Well, what does it mean, it's all oneness? It's all oneness means Adolf Hitler is a part of that oneness too, right? It cannot be separated outside of the oneness. Only the goodies and the good stuff are a part of the oneness. Anything that I don't like is not a part of the oneness. Donald Trump is not a part of the oneness. One moment, Christopher. Donald Trump is not a part of the oneness. Only Jesus Christ and Mother Teresa and Dalai Lama and the white angels and fairies are a part of the oneness. Oneness also means the demons and the dark forces. That's what oneness means. Means all of it, not only part of it. The final realization, that's why it makes you free, because you have gone beyond the duality. Means you have come to this realization that it's all that. The good and the bad, that appear to be good and bad, they're all aspects of that. And that's when you're free. I'm going to answer one more question and then we're running out of time. I mean, we've already gone over an hour and a half. Go ahead, Christopher.
Okay, thanks. It was just a quick thought about and comment to what you talk about, and I kept thinking about all the time that the total acceptance of everything, the total acceptance of each individual singular development, stage of development, the total acceptance of that must be the same as the oneness that we talk about here, right? That to be able to accept anything and everything, no matter how high or low or how bad or how good or how evil, whatever, the total acceptance of that.
Yes, that's right. The total acceptance of that. That doesn't mean in human form you would have to like it. If there is something you don't resonate with, you know, that the total acceptance, that doesn't mean I accept, let's say this is 1940 and we're in Europe and Nazism is all over and I'm an awakened master. That doesn't mean, yes, I have total acceptance of what is, but that doesn't mean in a human form I have to like Nazism and agree with it. In a human form, I have preferences. I can like something and dislike something, or agree on something and disagree. But as an awakened being, I have total acceptance of anything existence provides. Like in today's life, there is millions of things in this world that are completely screwed up. You know? Big major corporations drilling oil in beautiful beaches and destroying the beaches. Big corporations are poisoning millions of children and creating a lot of diseases and health issues all over the planet and everything. In awakening, you have come to the acceptance of what is. You see that and you realize behind these corporations is the Supreme Soul. And you see all the good people doing good things, and you see beyond that it's the Supreme Soul. So you have total acceptance of whatever is happening on this planet. But in human body, I don't necessarily have to like it. You know, there are certain parts of Los Angeles that I like to go to, certain parts of it I don't like at all. That doesn't mean awakening is not here. That means that my bodies, my mind, my psyche has a resonance with some things and doesn't have that resonance with other things. Does it make sense to you? Yeah. Yeah. In this life, I enjoy association of my own kind. I like to spend time with you guys. As somebody else may like to spend time, being in a, I don't know, some bar, shooting pool, drinking beer, or whatever.
What my thought was also about this being able to accept anything in totalness was also about the concept of not being judgmental about anything, referring to what you talk about being non-dual in your approach to life in general.
As an awakened being, yeah,
and the thought.
Right. When you realize the truth, then in your highest place you don't have any judgments, because you know God is behind all of it. But as a human being with a thinking mind, judgment is very natural, because your mind starts to judge. And you have no control over your mind. So the mind can judge things all day long. And it does that. And it's okay. How much power you give it, it's a different story.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. Okay, well, it's very, very nice to see you all. Welcome back. And I look forward to seeing you all next Tuesday. Same time, same place. And good questions, Christopher. Bring him on. You're welcome. Namaste. Love you all. And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.